Trump is hitting the campaign trail in a key battleground state. The president is visiting Georgia. He's going to a local business and a steel plant expected to tout his economic policies. Joining us now to discuss is Angie Wong, Republican strategist and political columnist. And we have Mike Leon, host of the Can We Please Talk podcast and lead anchor of the Legal Podcast Network. First of all, thank you both for joining us this afternoon. Angie, if I may, I'll start with you. What would you like to see from the president as he hits the campaign trail? What are you expecting?
Right. And his longtime advisor, Susie Wiles, is telling him that he is the magic ingredient to winning the midterm elections. He's going to be running again like he is a candidate. And that is exactly what's going to bring out the vote, because that's where Republicans are lacking right now. We saw in the last three special elections that Republican voters did not come out for those votes. And we lost those elections, and that's really tragic. So he now knows he needs to energize our base, get them talking. What I would like to see in his new rally, especially in Georgia, is a little bit of a moment where not everything is okay. I know he likes to tout that everything is great, the economy is great, this is great. I actually want to see a little bit of panic, because that's what needs to happen to get me to go out to vote. And I hope that he does a little bit of that, as well as tout all of his accomplishments in his second term.
Okay, Mike, where are Republicans lacking?
Well, first off, good to see you guys on this Thursday afternoon. I don't know if it's that Republicans are lacking. I'll piggyback on kind of what Angie said, that I think there needs to be some trepidation and the reason I'm here is to send a message about 2026 and how we're going to keep control in the House and Senate. But to Angie's broader point, I mean, there are some numerical things that are not in the president's favor. I mean, the jobs report, just as an example, year over year from Biden's last 6 months to Trump's last 6 months in 25, the job numbers are way down, like way down. And that's something that you can't make up numbers, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And that's the thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was representing this district, went out there and said. She said, tariffs are impacting my constituents. You know, we're not making America great again. We're making Israel great again and others. And we're, bailing out Argentinian farmers, soybean farmers. And that's hurting not just her district, but like other farmers out there that do lean in the Republican voting direction. So I think, to Angie's point, there's a reason why he's getting on this plane. It's a twofold reason for me, Don. I think it's one, retribution, because he loves the retribution angle, and he doesn't like how Marjorie Taylor Greene has fallen out. So let me kick her while she's down and endorse somebody else. But then I think there's the actual practical side of, like, this is the start of 26. Early voting is starting in Georgia. We're already seeing, the Texas stuff starting to heat up with Tallarico and Crockett. Now we've got a chance to impact the race. Let me go to the state of Georgia and go out there and maybe quell some people's, fears. He shouldn't be playing the greatest hits with respect to the speech, but I think he does need to kind of figure out how we're going to move forward in 26 on the Republican agenda.
Okay, so Angie, what is your view on how the public sees this administration, whether it's making their life more affordable?
Yeah, well, I agree with Mike there. Look, President Trump doesn't have to go to Rome, Georgia. This is a deep, deep Trump district. And for him to go there, it tells me that President Trump can leave no stone unturned. He needs every single seat come this midterm elections. It's such a razor thin margin, rather, uh, uh, Republican hold in Congress, that he cannot allow for one seat to flip. Now, as far as what is going to actually get people up and running to the polls, well, I think affordability is going to be something that he's touting. And he's going to go into the district where they already love him and test out a couple of key messaging points to see whether or not his base will react to it. I think that is what's happening now. It's a very favorable district for him. I don't think he would have been doing this even a year ago, because he would have thought, well, this is, my district. I don't need to spend time to go into this district that already voted for me. But in this case, he is. So I think he is a little bit worried, and he's going to do everything he can to gain every single seat in the Republican House.
So, Mike, what do you think? Should President Trump be even going to Rome, Georgia?
Well, Angie brings up a good point. I mean, if you just look at how much Marjorie Taylor Greene won margin of victory wise, right? I think it was like 25 percentage points back in 24 against Sean Harris, who, by the way, is part of this special runoff election. So there's a reason why Sean Harris is re-entering that race, but there's also a reason why, to Angie's point, right? Like why go to something that won by 25 percentage points, even if it's somebody that candidate-wise you are on the outs with in Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why go there? And I think I like what Angie's kind of said there, right? Like, let me test the message amongst the people that the message for some reason continues to resonate with, right? Because if they're not giving me the approval, okay, then we have a problem. But one big thing, Don, here that we're kind of missing in all of this, and it's something Mike Johnson said a few months ago during the November elections and Democrats winning, obviously, the Virginia governor race, the New Jersey governor's race. And he said something to the effect of, Donald Trump is on the ballot in 26, not physically, but we need him to be out there, and we need him to go out there to different races that we feel like he can impact. Now, again, to Angie's point, he probably wouldn't have done this a year ago, but now a year later, we're starting to feel it. There's numerical trends, not only approval rating, jobs creation, tariffs, and the 90% found by different economic firms that are being passed down to consumers. Like, people are feeling it. And this is what happened to Biden. The Biden folks were saying that the economy was great just from a numerical perspective on certain sectors, but they were ignoring other sectors. And I think that's kind of what did them in. I remember doing segments, I think, with Angie on a different network about this. And so I think there's something there that Trump is like, and at least his team, maybe not Trump, maybe his team, to Angie's point, is saying to him, like, let's go there, let's test some messaging things. And to Mike Johnson's point, you aren't on the ballot physically, but we need you to go out there because you do drum up support, even when it's time for like special elections like this, which tend to have low Republican turnout.
Okay, so Angie, Mike brings up a good point there. Can you just comment? Can you just respond to, from a strategic point of view, what is the difference that Trump is on the ballot versus that if he's not?
Well, people rage vote when Trump is on the ballot, and then all the down ballot candidates get to benefit from that. We saw that in 16, we saw that in 2020, and we certainly saw that in 2024. So we know that he is the winning formula, but this time around, he can't be on the ballot. But how do we message it so that he is going to be part of the ballot? And I think a lot of it is going to be messaged out, if I were advising him, would be that, the first thing Democrats would do is impeach him if they took back the House or the Senate. They're going to go after him, and he wants a full 4-year presidency with no speed bumps. He wants to get his entire America First agenda passed. But in order to do so, we need to secure the House. Remember, we have 45 congressional members retiring by the end of this year. So it's going to be the biggest new freshman class next round. And that's worrisome for anybody, especially for Mike Johnson, who we don't know who's going to get in yet. Hopefully Republicans, but there's no guarantees.
So, Mike, can you give us your comments on some of the candidates here looking at the playing field in this special election in Georgia?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's one that Trump, I think he forgot he endorsed him, and Clay Fuller, the attorney who he put out on True Social, and that goes back to whether or not the president fully handles his True Social account. But he did already endorse Clay Fuller. There's about 13 or so candidates, one libertarian. I mentioned Sean Harris before. He ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene back in 24, and he's the one that lost by that margin. So it's interesting to me seeing his name reappear as maybe like a familiar face. I'm not sure if maybe he's trying to say, hey, I'm back and I'm running on Marjorie Taylor Greene's platform, which was, affordability, and we're getting killed as a district. And this has been read for a minute. So how we flip? So there's a few other names out there. Again, I don't know how many of them will actually, be the one that will actually take this down with the special election. But I do know early voting has started. And obviously, March 10th is a key date. And if there is a runoff, it would move all the way to April 7th. So this is a district that, again, back to Angie's point, we wouldn't pay attention to this district in any other year, because if you think about it, it leans heavily red. The Cook Political Report has this in a secure red area. So it's not something that is really up for grabs. But I think the reason the president is there is let's start 26 off with a bang. And also it's against somebody who has been very outspoken about my agenda, who used to be, as at least a loyal son of mine or daughter of mine, I should say. And now, I'm going to go to the district and not only stick it to her, but to emphasize what we're going to do in 26 in terms of keeping our control in the House and Senate.
So Angie, same question to you. I want to hear from you. Any comments you have on any of the candidates?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I know a few of the candidates personally. I think President Trump made the right pick with Clay Fuller. I hope that he backs him all the way. I hope the other candidates drop out because here's what we don't want. We don't want a runoff. We want a clean candidate coming out March 10th. I think that would really make the entire process a lot easier, certainly save millions of dollars of campaigning because we know this is going to be a very expensive race. So I really do hope that other candidates are watching this. Drop out, please, because if you are polling under 10%, do not take away from someone who could easily top over 50%, which is what they need to win on March 10th. We don't need April 7th. It's just too short of a time to campaign. Quite honestly, I bet. I really hope that Marjorie Taylor Greene actually endorses someone. They still love her in that district. This would be a great bridge for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump to make some amends. I know that's my dream, but that would go a long way. And I hope that they're watching right now because that would definitely make our party a lot easier because there's all sorts of infighting. We don't need any of it. Let's unite.
Okay, Mike, if you have something to add there, you could speak it now. But I also wanted to get your forecast into what you think the voter turnout is going to look like for the midterms.
Well, I mean, if I could predict that, Don, we wouldn't be talking. I'd be flying somewhere, some private jet right now, somewhere tropical, because that's what everybody wants to do, right? Is forecasting it and getting it accurate over years or decades. I think to Angie's point, and we kind of saw this in Miami where Angie and I live, like just low voter turnout in the Miami mayor's race, right? Like you get in when you have these, now again, that was election day, so that's a little bit different. But when you get like these special elections, the biggest thing is how are the campaigns getting their message out, whether it be local radio, print, whether it be obviously paid television ads locally, how are they actually going to drive out support? Because March 10th is not ingrained into people's heads. Special runoff elections on April 7th are not ingrained into people's heads. So if I really knew that, Don, again, we wouldn't be talking right now, or I'd be on my jet answering questions like Trump did before I hopped on, and I'd have my pilot beeping the buzz bell as well, because it's just something that is not really known. What is known is what you could do to kind of drive out people to go to the ballot box. And I think this is the president of the United States making a stop in Rome, Georgia, like Angie said before. Again, he doesn't have to go to Rome, Georgia. I think it adds the significance to people that, hey, the president's coming here. This is a red district. They want to keep it a red district. So it's going to spotlight that. And maybe we will drive out some more turnout for whether it be the Republican. I don't think, like I said, I don't think Sean Harris really has a chance. But maybe it will spotlight this race and drive more turnout. But if I knew that, Don, I'd be a millionaire.
Well, I wouldn't undersell yourself, Mike. I think you have great comments. I asked you that with a bit of confidence, actually. But Angie, I think we can end this conversation. Any final thoughts you have?
Yeah, no, I think President Trump's doing the right thing. He is running like it's 2024. He is going to hit every single market, red, blue, green, anything. I think he knows that what he needs to do is keep his base and then add some. So he needs the independents. He needs the new Republicans, and he also needs a few Democrats. And in order to do so, he's got to fine tune his messaging a lot more than he is now. I think that the affordability thing is great, but is that enough? Is that enough to say, hey, guys, I brought you $2 a gallon gas and, we brought egg prices down? I think there needs to be more, and he needs to listen to the people when he's on the ground. And that's what he's great at doing. He's great at going into the fast food joints and talking to the people there, really understanding what needs to happen. He's great at talking to waitresses who gave him the no tax on tips. So I think if he does a few more moments like that, I think we can actually win in November. It will certainly make me feel a lot more comfortable about the midterm elections.
Well, all right. We will see in time. Well spoken, both of you. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Don.